Bum, bum. Hey, 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 hey. Bum, bum. Ooh, whoa, whoa. Nah. Won't you come see about me? I'll be alone, dancing, you know it, baby. Tell me your troubles and doubts, giving me everything inside and out, and love strange, so real in the dark. Think of the tender things that we were working on. He's really explaining something in that song. I know, huh? Don't me take you apart. I'll put us back together at heart, baby. Don't you forget about me. I'll be alone. Don't you forget about me, sweetie. I can never forget about you. Okay, hey, Boozhoo. What's going on over here? Welcome to Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am, who am I? You're Nanaboozhoo! Nanaboozhoo. And over here is the lovely and talented Natasha. Ikadon Boozhoo Weenie Mushane. Say hello, my sweetheart. Hello, everybody. How you doing? And over here, the rock star cartoonist himself. Oh, I can't believe it. You're on our show. I'm every day. Yeah, I know, huh? Say hello, Niji. Say hello, my brother. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the show. And yeah, so we were just thinking about the good old days, the 1980s, I call them. The days of the grandfathers. Remember 1985, you guys? And the movie The Breakfast Club? Don't you forget about me. I sure hope Kizzy Renee Davis doesn't forget about us, sweetie. Kizzy would never forget about us. Hey, bonjour, Kizzy. Gold star for Kizzy. Gold star for Kizzy. And Shelly Ham coming in second place. And today's silver medal, Shelly Ham. It's like the Olympics all over again. Yeah. And Daniel Black says, first or second through the door. Shit, third. Yeah. Daniel knows what it is. And Daniel, first loser. Big old loser. Big old thumbs down for Daniel. Yeah. Actually, even at the Olympics, I gave a bronze medal. Maybe we should start giving bronze medals. Let Daniel stand on that the third highest platform. You know, they really want to kind of shame the people who don't come in first in the Olympics. Oh, you stand way up there. Everyone needs to know you're the tallest, so you're the best. Second place, not as tall, but better than third place. And so, speaking of Olympics, I heard Caitlyn Jenner is going to convert back. Really? Yeah. Going to transition back to being a man. Yeah, that'll confuse everybody. Because to me, Caitlyn Jenner, what would she even look like? Get out of here. Nah. Is she really converting? I don't think so. I mean, I deny that she converted in the first place, or transitioned in the first place. Converted. It sounds like she became a Christian. I got baptized and became a woman. So, okay. Anyway, so Jessica Waboose is here. Bonjour, Jessica. We were just talking about the good old days when Caitlyn Jenner was Bruce Jenner. Because now the records are all screwed up. What do you mean? Well, now you have to say, Bruce Jenner was the first woman to ever win the decathlon in the Olympics. Yeah, huh? I mean, I don't know. And I guess who cares? Scholars of the Olympics. Oh, this is so confusing. In history, did you children know that women were superior athletes in the 1970s for a short period there? A woman won everything. Because I don't understand. I come from a time called the 1980s, in the days of our grandfathers. And today, I would like to tell this story of the Breakfast Club. I think we've already talked about this. I know, but can you ever talk about it enough? No, I love this movie. I do too. In fact, I think we called the show How to Say I Love the Breakfast Club. So how would you say I love the Breakfast Club? Well, like Breakfast Club, Zagain. Yeah. Breakfast Club, Zagain. When we say I love you, we always put the person first, or the noun, the object of our love first. So today is a Ojibwe language lesson. Before we get into the Breakfast Club. Whoa, wait. That's that cool graphic from yesterday. Kikije ba wisini win is your morning food. You know, some of you will see people on the Boozhoo crew. They'll say, "Mino gigajabe, gigajabe." They're saying good morning, Mino gigajabe. But when you say morning food, you say gigajabe ba wisini win. Wisini win is your morning meal or whatever, morning food, or what we would call breakfast. And this is, you know, the Boozhoo crew is kind of the breakfast club with us. Yeah, we always get together at breakfast. Good morning, everybody. Are you having a delicious, nutritious breakfast with Natasha and I? Today is a Ojibwe word of the day. Kikije ba wisini win. It's the most important meal of the day. Oh, really? How can you say that? Well, because you haven't eaten for 8 hours. So by your reasoning, if I skip lunch, does supper become the most important? Just never mind. It is the most important meal of the day. That's what my father told me, his father before him. The breakfast, most important meal, sweetie. So why do we just have coffee and cookies for breakfast? Because we're still children. Yeah. Breakfast. But then I was thinking, what's a club? You know, you want to look up club in the Ojibwe dictionary. They're going to tell you the word for ball club. You know. But what a club really is a community. It's your companions. Ouiji waganug. Ouiji, kind of like Niji is your friend, but a bunch of friends would be your Ouiji waganug. Ouiji wagan is a one companion. Not even a friend, it's just a people there. It's a group. It's a club. Ouiji waganug are your companions. So, Gigaje ba wisini win Ouiji waganug would be the breakfast club. And to say, I love the breakfast club, you would say, Gigaje ba wisini win Ouiji waganug Zagain. That's hard to say, sweetie. That's a lot of words. All right, this will be on the test, you guys. I hope you're writing this down. Kikaje ba wisini win is your morning food, your breakfast. Ouiji waganug are your companions. It's your breakfast club. And today, on the Ojibwe Culture and Language Podcast. Oh yeah, I've heard about that Nanaboozhoo. He tells the Ojibwe stories. Yeah. You want me to tell you for the millionth time how Raccoon got his stripes? Look, man, the snow hasn't flown yet. Actually, we did see some flakes, but snow's not on the ground. I'm not going to tell those traditional stories. I'm going to tell a better traditional story. I'm going to tell the story of the Breakfast Club. I keep doing that. The Breakfast Club. You ready for this, sweetie? I sure am. I'm on the edge of my seat. Okay. All right, listen up. This is for the kids who weren't there. Back in the days of the grandfathers, it was 1985. I don't remember which city, but in the old days, before the, I don't know, before Generation X raised children wrongly and they outlawed detention and suspension and basically made it impossible for teachers to have any discipline. And before cell phones and all that, when kids would get into trouble, they'd have to go to school on a Saturday. They called it in-school suspension. They don't do that anymore. Kids are spoiled. But back in the days of the grandfathers, in this one particular school, there was in-school suspension. And one by one, these 5 strangers all came to in-school suspension. There was Claire, the princess. She would lie down for photos and prop her head on her hand. She was kind of a princess. She was very popular. Homecoming queen, rich, got some earrings, that her dad probably gave her for Christmas, made with real diamonds. Her rich, drunk mother in the Bahamas. But anyway, so that was Claire. And then Brian shows up, and Brian was like kind of a nerd. He was really smart. He got good grades, but he had a lot of pressure to keep good grades. He tried to commit suicide by setting off a flare gun to go off when he opened his locker door. It would kill him, burning him alive. But it didn't work out, so they gave him suspension. Which seems pretty harsh when you think about it. Yeah, why? Brian shouldn't have been given suspension for that. He should have been given counseling. He was suicidal. I know. Poor old Brian. But he was in the physics club. The physics club. And then there was Andy, the athlete. Andy was put into suspension for taping up some kid's butt cheeks in the locker room. They sexually assaulted a kid. Presumably he was naked. It's really weird. So I don't know if they stripped him down or if he was just changing clothes from gym or what. But he and his buddies sexually assaulted this boy and taped him up while he was naked. Because he mentions how that boy had a hairy butt cheeks. And he was a nerd. So he went to in-school suspension for that and not jail for some reason. I don't know why. And then there was Ali Shady. And she was an artist. And she had a dandruff. And she shows up. And her parents don't even talk to her. They just drop her off. She's like, hey, Mom. They just drive away. So she goes in, sits down. She makes a sandwich out of Captain Crunch and sugar. And then she draws a pretty decent picture. But then pours her dandruff on the drawing to make it snow. And that's, what was her name? Let's see, it was Claire and Ali Sheedy. I forget. Let's just call her Ali Sheedy. And there's nothing wrong with her. She's just wearing a black sweater and she's, has hair in her, she's wearing bangs slightly long. But they all think she's like a weirdo and eventually have to give her a hair tie and put on eye makeup so she can make out with the jock. In the end, the cool guys get the girls and Brian just ends up kissing his essay. He's the only one who does an essay. So anyway, and then there's Bender. And Bender's the bad kid. He just walks up there by himself. He doesn't even have parents drop him off. And he was put in school suspension for pulling a fire alarm. Not for having pot in his locker, not for smoking cigarettes in the library, not for vandalism, not for sexual assault of Claire under the desk. None of that stuff. For pulling a fire alarm is what he's in there for. And so movie opens up and the principal's there and he's like, well. Oh, look at all you guys. I want to commend you on your punctuality. You're all here on time. So for the next 8 hours, you cannot talk, You cannot move. You cannot sleep, Mr. Bender. You don't want to see any dreaming back here. And in fact, this time, I'm going to have you guys write a little essay on who you think you are. Who do you think you are anyway? Who do you think you are? I think I'm Natasha. That's the right answer. But he said it had to be no less than 1,000 words. And he goes, my office is right across the way there. Don't try any funny business. And Bender's like, screws fall out all the time. The world's an imperfect place. He goes, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. You know, there's a lot of really cool back and forth. But then throughout the day, you know, these kids, they kind of talk about what it's like. And they each belong to a different clique. You know, there's the popular girl and the popular boy. The homecoming queen, rich girl, the athlete boy. Then there's the outsider boy with, cigar burns. And then there's the nerdy kid, Brian. And then there's the kind of goth girl, kind of depressed girl, who drinks vodka. When do you drink vodka? Whenever. I can basically quote that whole movie. Yeah, I know, me too. And so throughout the day, they talk and they get to know each other. And they get high. And I don't know. At one point, Bender gets threatened by the principal. He's like, come on, right here. I'm begging you. I'm a swell guy. What are they going to believe? You? The teenager with the black eye? When you tell them that I beat you up? Or are they going to believe me? The principal? Come on, I'm begging you. And he's like, are you threatening me, man? All the while, you just knew Judd Hirsch could have wasted that old actor. Anyway. So at the end of the movie, after they get all stoned and just trash the whole library, Emilio, he gets high in a back closet. And then, in fact, should I show that video? We could analyze if I got rid of the, wait, hold on. Hey, 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 hey. Ooh. Let me get rid of the Luma key. See what this looks like. All right. Here we got Brian. Brian's a nerd. And here he's getting stoned. He's cracking up. There, I don't know how he did that. He lit a match with his teeth. Can you do that, sweetie? I've never done it. How do you light a match with your teeth? Anyway, so she's smoking a joint. He gives her an annoying look, but he's giggling. And she's like, oh, I like, that's a tightly rolled joint. And he somehow, does they have two joints going at once? I didn't see her pass it. Anyway, so chicks can't hold their smoke. That's what it is. And Bender laughs. And then there's cute old, what's her face? She goes, I am so popular. You would not believe it. I'm so popular, sweetie. Everybody loves me. And now I'm going to smoke some more weed. And that's pretty much. And then there's Ali Sheet. It's like, what? How come those guys won't share the weed with me? I can't believe it. Come on, man. Give me a high five. And he's like still bullying them. So that goes on for about 90 minutes. And in the end, they all become friends. They learn a little bit about themselves. Hey, 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 ooh, whoa, whoa. And Simple Minds was popular for, 12 months. Well, that song lives on forever, I guess. But, and that was The Breakfast Club. And this is the story of The Breakfast Club. To learn more about the 1980s and what happened to The Breakfast Club after that fateful Saturday. Oh. Watch St. Elmo's Fire, I guess. That's gonna be that's like the Breakfast Club too. I know, it's like the same actors and different characters. They had to bring on that pedophile. What's her name? Oh yeah, what is her name? She was married to that guy from Die Hard. Yeah, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis. Who was married to Bruce Willis? And she was in St. Elmo's Fire. I'm glad I don't remember her name. And she was in Ghost. And everybody cut their hair short in the late 80s because of Demi Moore. That's her name. Demi Moore. You guys ever see the video of Demi Moore kissing a 14-year-old, 13-year-old boy that she was in a movie with when she was like 20, 21 or something? She's clearly drunk and she's just like kissing this little boy. He's not even 40. He's probably 10 or 11. It is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. I don't want to talk about that too much, but man, Hollywood people are weirdos. Anyway, let's see what's going on with the Boozhoo crew. Jim Dunn's here. Boozhoo, Jim. And Papa Wagosh. Papa ZB Wagosh. How's it going, Papa ZB Wagosh? And Sheila Eddy. Oh, Sheila's here, sweetie. Well, hi, Sheila. And Gwen Carley. Come on down. That's what I feel like. I'm just shouting out names now. And Zagame. Hoa Zagame. Me Gwetch, by the way, got our package yesterday. I think we're set with coffee for this winter, huh, sweetie? Yeah, we are now. Me Gwetch, we really appreciate it. And then there's Papa Wogosh says, there is a heavy frost. Zagasqua. Zasaqua. Zasaqua. Here in the northeast today. Was out making sure the plants were covered. You better cover those tomato plants. Frost is coming. Like I know anything about gardening. Yeah, I know. Papa says, another year older, Niji, and living the life. How are you? Me? Oh, you know, I can't complain. It was a nice surprise, I guess. Now I look back, you know, I'm on the downward slide of 54. I'm going to be 55 before I know it. I always start calling myself the year older than I am before my birthday, so I can get used to the idea. But no one told me that 50s was going to be easier than the 40s and 30s and 20s. And maybe I heard that once. But for me, life really did sort of begin when I turned 50. You know, you finally sort of admit defeat in certain areas. You know, I'm never going to be a rock star. You know, I'm never going to be in the Olympics or whatever. I'm just too old now. There's certain opportunities. By the time you turn 50, you got to walk through that door. You're leaving behind any youthful dreams you had. You know, even fundamental stuff, you know. I mean, I'm not going to say we're never going to have a baby, but because I think it's still kind of ambiguous how old you are. I know, I could still be young and fertile. Yeah, you never know. In this show, she may end up having a kid at some point. So who knows? But for some people, after 50, they go, you know what? Yeah, like you, Michael. You've crossed that threshold where you're probably never going to have a baby. Yep. Thank God. Yeah, you know. But, you know, but nobody told me that. And the other stuff you can leave behind are, you know, your expectations that don't get met. Or being 50 in your 50s, you're on the other side of, when I grow up, I want to blank. You either became what you wanted to be when you grew up, or you didn't. One way or the other, you got to face it. It's too late to say, well, someday I'm going to, I'm going to start a band and then go on the road and we're going to cut an album and then I'm going to get a radio hit. We're going to shoot a video and then we're going to make it to the top and be a jukebox hero. Got stars in his eyes. He's a jukebox hero. There just comes a point where you go, well, I'm never going to do that. It's too late. There comes a point where you're just too old for that crap. I don't know if I want to get... There's something sort of embarrassing nobody wants to admit. I thought of this when I saw Gene Simmons get married. Don't get mad, Gene. Oh, yeah! He won't get mad. But Gene Simmons finally married his wife. I mean, it's his wife, the mother of his 2 children he's been living with since the 80s. Shannon Tweed. And all this time, the go-to response for Gene was, I'll never get married. No, man, I rock and roll all night. He's an idiot. But he finally gets guilted into marrying his mother's children on his reality show, Family Jewels. And he goes through this whole rigmarole where he walks out on a dock, gets down on one knee, gives her a ring, vows to, it's like, no, that's a young man's game. You've already got decades in with this woman. What are you on one knee for? Like you're the knight and she's a princess. And then the big day comes. And Shannon Tweed from Playboy and B movies, sex movies, Gene Simmons' wife and, aged, to have adult children. He's in his 70s now. But she gets dressed up in a bridal gown, all white, Did they dig her dad up out of the cemetery to give her away? Did Paul Stanley give her away? I don't know how that worked. But, they just do the traditional wedding. Like, you guys, that's not for you. That's a young man's game. That's for people who don't already have adult children who've grown up and moved out of the house. What are you guys doing? You feel pretty strongly about this, don't you? It's kind of everything that's going on in the world, it's so crazy. That's the thing that bothers me the most. Gene Simmons, you made a mockery out of, the Christian marriage. I don't care about gay marriage. You guys do what you want. But Gene Simmons getting married? What? I don't know, man. It's blasphemy. That's what it is. Why am I talking about that? I don't know. So if you were in the Breakfast Club, which character would you have been? Me? Probably, honestly, I'd probably be Claire. Claire, really? Are you rich? No, but I was really popular in school. Yeah, I can see that. Who would you be? Oh, I'd be Bender all the way. Tough, smoking cigarettes. Really? I kind of looked like Bender. I wanted people to think of me as Bender. And I was kind of a class clown. But I was also, I was at least, 3/4 Brian. Really? Yeah. I was a speech kid. I was into Dungeons and Dragons. I got bad grades in school just because I have a bad memory. But I was a smart kid. I understood everything. I just couldn't test or whatever. Didn't do my homework. And I was a little bit of Ali Sheedy too. I would have been drawing in school suspension. But my crimes in high school were never serious like Bender. I didn't carry around a knife. I didn't need to. I got in trouble for laughing too much. Yeah. Telling jokes and laughing. Just laughing too hard. That's enough laughing in the back. Mr. Boozhoo. What? Sorry. I find your class so hilarious. What was your favorite class in school? Well, Phi-Ed probably. Yeah, does Phi-Ed count? Because our Phi-Ed class, we didn't even have... now, I think that stupid schools make the kids take tests and stuff. But for us in the 80s, Phi-Ed was just a class period where you got to just play in the gym. I don't even remember if there was a teacher. There'd be like an adult who would unlock the balls, and then the boys and girls would just split up and play sports. So, it's basketball season. We're going to be playing basketball in the winter. Oh, here comes baseball season. Time for that in Phi-Ed. What about art? Yeah, I also like art class. Art and Phi-Ed. Yeah, me too. I was always kind of freaked out by shop. We had a really, for a small school, they never took any credit for this, but LaPorte School had the most amazing shop class. When I was a 7th grader, they started you out with actual welding. And they had a shop room that looked like a garage with torches, welding torches. And every kid, every year, would make Christmas presents of welded, candle holders, whatever. They would teach you with the masks and all that how to weld. An actual skill that a lot of us would have done well to go into that profession. And then they moved you on to pretty serious, radial arm saws, electric, power tools. This is a bit before my time. The high schoolers actually built the entire 2-story shop building outside. They built it themselves. They didn't contract out a carpentry, whatever. That was their class. We're going to lay a basement, and then we're going to build. And I remember going up there, and it's still had new sawdust smell and everything, and they started classes. It's this is how we built this building. You're going to learn. It's wow, that was a great school that you didn't even have to take that class more than once. They had a small engines class where I destroyed a lawnmower engine beyond repair. All you had to do was take it apart, put it back together. But for a small school, they actually were here, a bunch of blue collar. You kids ain't going to college. You better learn some skills. So they had a pretty good shop class. But, our history education was a joke. Just laughable. I didn't know anything. Social studies, history, just dumb. They would show stuff in the history class, they just show reruns of Victory at Sea. Those war reel movies they'd play in the theaters in the World War II days. Victory at Sea, and it'd be all black and white. The U.S. really has Charlie on the ropes. Just war propaganda film, every day for a month. And the teacher would straight up fall asleep in the back of the room. He'd have the one nerdy kid work the projector. He was a teacher's pet. He knew how to work the projector. And then we were all told to shut up, shut off the lights. And he'd sit in the back of the room. I don't even care. He's still alive. He probably watches the show. Yeah, Mr. Evamo, I remember. And he would eat raw potatoes. Not even cooked, but just raw. And then he'd fill up on potatoes and fall asleep, full on unconscious. We'd all look back and go, oh, is he asleep yet? Yeah. Get up, walk out, do whatever. Make those, shadow puppets in the projector. But I learned nothing about history going to that school. And if I'd paid attention, it would have just been propaganda, lazily teachers in the 80s didn't have any political opinions about anything. It wasn't like today where it's like a whole agenda. Today we're going to teach critical race theory. In those days, they were just like, take an attendance. Here's your worksheet. Turn to chapter 11. This will be on the Vietnam War. And you'd be like, how come our textbook is from 1970? The Vietnam War is not even over yet. In my textbook. Oh, okay. Well, we won. That'll be on the test. You go, okay. True or false? America is the greatest country in the world. True? Very good. All right, everybody, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Well, that was my history education. But now, I got YouTube. So I filled in all the gaps. Now I know what happened. Best of my recollection is 1492. Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Came over on Nina, the Pinta, the Ocasio-Cortez. And then I guess he teamed up with George Washington, who never lied. And together they... Was it Columbus who carved George Washington's face in Mount Rushmore? I think so. Columbus carved Mount Rushmore. And then I believe it was President George Floyd. That sounds right. President George Floyd then came up with the original $20 bill. And he drew a picture of Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. I don't know why the news got that so crazy, but apparently the original 20 was drawn by President George Floyd. George Washington. Oh yeah, George Washington. I get those two guys confused. Which one's the president? George Washington, silly. Oh, okay. And which one was the porn actor who put a gun to a pregnant woman's belly during a home invasion where he was robbing her for drug money? That was George Floyd. Okay, George Floyd. Because Black Lives Matter. We don't even have a picture of him, do we? I don't think so. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about, though, today, sweetie? What's that? That cartoon. That made me cry yesterday. No, that's not it. Okay. So yesterday, we were talking about cartoons I liked. And this one's really sad, The Beautiful Irony. It's our last another reunion. But I found the they still talk about you. I don't know, with the angel wings, the dead dog. He's like, I know. Isn't that beautiful? And you can kind of tell it's this is an amateur cartoonist. I can tell because I know what they're doing with the text. They do the picture and then they scanned it into Microsoft Word. And then the problem is you can put text on top, but your drawing comes through. So they put, and it doesn't matter because this is beautiful. Isn't that sweet? It makes me want to cry. I know. Do you have a pet who's up in Gagikwe, Minnewanna-Gozi winning in the land of everlasting happiness? Over the rainbow bridge? Somewhere over the rainbow, your dead pet knows you're constantly talking about him. It's okay, but your current pet is getting pretty sick of it. Do you suppose Bagheera gets sick of how much we talk about Princess here? I would. Anyway, I thought this was a beautiful cartoon. And I like to believe that, they know. And it goes for people too. Your old grandma, she's like, every time you bring up something, she's like, oh, here we go. They're listening. Are they? I don't know. What's the Bible say? Never read it. You read the Bible? Yeah, not that closely. I read just the boring stories. Oh, John the Baptist was in the desert. Ooh, look at me. I'm in my camel hair, waistcoat. Oh, look at me eating bugs and honey. I'm a wild man. John the Baptist. But I don't know what they say about... I wish the Bible talked more about heaven and hell. I wish churches talked more about it. How do we know God's real? Can our ancestors, are they really watching us right now? Can they listen? Some people want to, they say that's comforting. It's like, oh yeah, hey, he was here. People go, oh, I miss David Bowie. Well, guess what? He's here in your heart. It's like, no, he's not. He's probably in hell. Actually, he's probably alive, but, somebody will say, oh, Grandpa would have loved this funeral. Well, he was there. He was there. Then you go, okay. For how long? And how many generations go? Is that what the afterlife is? You die, and then you just have to be sitting in front of like a heavenly TV watching your ancestors? Are they watching when we go to the bathroom? Yeah, I hope not. So, I mean, for sure your pets are listening. But do your ancestors listen? Can you pray to your grandma? Dear grandma, how's heaven? I sure miss you. Remember old, what's his face? I'm coming, Edith. Was it Edith or Elizabeth? Yeah, it was Elizabeth. It's the big one, Elizabeth. I'm coming. Red Fox. Yeah, Sanford. Sanford and Son. Sanford, every time he'd have a heart attack, he'd yell up to his wife in heaven. I think it's a big one, Elizabeth. I'm coming. I'm coming to be with you. But to our dearly departeds, can they, can they hear us? Do they know what's going on? I don't know. I like to believe sometimes. I've had some weird dreams. You ever have those dreams? Indian people always say, oh yeah, my grandma, she visited me last night in a dream. I had a dream. My grandmother visited me. It's like, how do you know you didn't just have a dream with grandma in it? Oh, you can tell. I never have any doubt. But if I'm being honest, I've had at least one like that. Maybe two, maybe three. And I won't bore the audience giving details, but it's one of those weird dreams where you wake up and you go, what was that now? And you try to remember. It feels like they gave you a message from the other side or something. Oh, that's so weird. I mean, it was like it was my grandma, but she was different. But I knew it was her. But it was like this, and yet it was different. And it feels, on the one hand, very dreamlike. If you retold the story about the dream you had where somebody died and visited you, it sounds just like any dream you have any night. And yet, once in a great while, because you'll never forget those dreams, you have one that's really vivid and one that feels different. Or maybe one where you're talking to them and they're talking back. I don't know. La 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 la, da 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 da. In case you missed it, I added Wagosh and Waboos to my animal collection. The Wagosh and the Waboos. Back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a wagosh, a fox, and a wabooz, a rabbit. There is actually a story I could tell about fox and rabbit. Oh, you know what? I got that cool graphic. Now let's do it later. So, you want to get up here? Yeah, sure. All right. Let me play a little go-between music. Should we do the go-between music, or should I play the commercial? You want to play the commercial for Teespring? What if... I feel guilty about Teespring because it is way overpriced. But it is a good 1-minute commercial. Yeah, just play Teespring and then we can play a song at the end. Okay. Up next, the lovely and talented Natasha. Miigwech Bizendawieg, thank you for listening. And Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo will return after these messages. And yeah, Teespring's pretty expensive. You know, if you're rich, knock yourself out. The Hoa t-shirts aren't bad. If you want to buy a baby t-shirt with an alien on it, it says Hoa. Come to Teespring. Welcome to Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo. Oh, I said welcome to Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo. Wow. Name and Wendam G.A. Hanumanungu. Click the link to order. It's kind of suspicious that we couldn't make out any of the prices. Yeah, no kidding. Hey everybody, Boozhoo! How you doing? Natasha Nandisha. Natasha is my name. And I'm really happy to be here on this Nano Geisha Good. It's the 5th day, sweetie. Friday, the 5th day. I've had Friday on my mind. Nano, 5th day. And on the 5th day, you can plead the 5th. You don't have to tell on yourself. I plead the 5th. I will not incriminate myself. I will not discriminate against myself. Because it's Nano Geisha Good. 5th day. Friday. I've got Friday on my mind. I've got Gigajeba recently win on my mind. You know what, baby doll? What's that? We could go to Country Kitchen this morning and go get some Gigajeba recently win. Go get some morning food. Go get the Grand Slam breakfast. 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, 2 sausage, orange juice, milk, the Grand Slam breakfast. One time, your dad, he brought me to the Grand Slam breakfast. I think that's Denny, sweetie. All right. I think I was quoting Smoke Signals. You're quoting Thomas. Thomas builds the fire. Thomas builds the fire. Hey, Victor! Where's your dad? Gigasheba, we sini win. Is morning food, or breakfast. And the breakfast club. Ouija Waganug. Waganug. Ouija Waganug. Your breakfast companions. And that's what you guys are to me. You're my breakfast companions, even though we don't have any breakfast. I didn't even have a cup of coffee this morning. What happened to my coffee, sweetie? You drank it up, and then we didn't make any more. Well, what in the world? How in the world am I supposed to get by in life without my black medicine water? Muckety mush kiki waboo, muckety mush kiki waboo. Niwi ayan, muckety mush kiki waboo. What if I played that old video? You're going to play our first Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo podcast? Should I? Yeah, go ahead. Let me see. Yeah. Wait, no. I'll replace the Teespring ad. So, it was about, what was it, 4 years ago now? Was it been 4 years already? Yeah, I think so. Here we go.
Okay then. Anin anashinabe do.
Anin.
Nanaboozhoo. Oh, take two. Take two. Sorry.
You
I
should
can
be
do this.
sorry.
I can do this.
No, you can't.
All right. Boozhoo anashinabe do. Nanaboozhoo indigenous cause. Niman wangam o ma noon kum.
Niman wangam o
Hello.
ma noon kum.
My name is Nanaboozhoo, and I'm happy to be here today. Let's see, what do I want to say today?
What?
Okay, we're going to learn a new word.
Oh, are you?
You know what that word is?
What?
Coffee.
Ooh.
That's right. We're going to learn the Ojibwe word for coffee. So, it's a big word, but it was the first word my grandpa ever taught me. Here it goes.
This is embarrassing.
Makere mashkiki wabu. That's right. Makere mashkiki wabu. Hard to say? Not at all. You can sing a song about it.
Yeah.
All right, check this out. Makere mashkiki wabu. Makere mashkiki wabu. Niwi eya. Niwi eya. Makere mashkiki wabu. Makere mashkiki wabu. Niwi eya. Makere mashkiki wabu. Makere mashkiki wabu. Niwi eya. Makere mashkiki wabu. That's right.
Good
Niwi
acting.
eya. Makere mashkiki wabu. I need coffee.
You need something.
Okay, miigwech. There you have it. Gigawaba, man. I'll see ya.
Yeah, I'll see you later. I like this here. Can you see Michael's head?
Okay, bye.
Bye. Makere mashkiki wabu. So, that's what it looked like the first time we tried to teach an Ojibwe word. What do you mean we? You weren't even there. I know, but I was there in spirit. Makere mashkiki wabu. Black medicine water. That's what we called coffee. And, that seemed to be the most important word, because that was the first word that Grandpa ever taught me. Makere mashkiki wabu, makere mashkiki. But the song, you know where that song came from? Was it Three Blind Mice? Yeah. Three blind mice. See how they run. What? I don't know. Actually, I think your song's better than Three Blind Mice. Makere mashkiki wabu. La 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 la. Nanaboozhoo sounds like Victor. Yeah. You sound like Thomas builds a fire. Hey, Victor, where's your dad? Where's your dad? No. So anyway, yeah. It's funny how things change. You know. You're asking me, will our love grow? Gawin and Kakain Danzine. You stick around and it may show. Gawin and Kakain Danzine. So how's it going, Michael? I'm doing pretty well. How are you? Hanging in there. Hanging in there. Can't complain. That's how Minnesota people are. You never want to say, oh, I'm doing great. Fantastic. I'm good looking and got enough money. Like, I'm thin. Thank you very much. You always got to say, oh, not too bad. Kind of bad. But not too bad. I'm from northern Minnesota. How are you? Can't complain. Not too bad. I'm not going to bother you with my problems. But I'm certainly not committing to saying things are great. Fantastic. I'm doing better than you. We would never say that. It's not our way. Gotta stay humble, huh, sweetie? That's what they tell us. Yeah. La, la, la. Do. I know that feeling, Jess. Had to put a new battery in Mormore's car. $165 for a battery. What's going on, man? It's a collapse. I think this winter we're going to see kind of the thing we've been afraid of happening. Inflation's going to skyrocket. We're going to have bread lines. Everything's going to be so expensive, we're going to go out of heck with it. Yeah, I own a car. It's not running because I can't afford the $2,000 oil change or whatever. We're heading into some bleak times, man. Better beware. And on that note, go Taji. Be afraid. No. You want to take a call? Do we have anybody on the line? Yeah, now that I said that, I don't think we do. Should we call up somebody? Actually, you know what? We might be out of time. Yeah, that's about all the time we have, sweetie. Should I play a song? You could play that cool song for Michael. All right. Well, everybody, I want to say special miigwech today for Kat sending the package yesterday. Appreciate it. And if you'd like to support the show, you can support the show on patreon.com, baby. Or give us a tip on PayPal. We also accept Junia money on a GoFundMe page. All these are links in the description. And there's also Teespring link if you like to throw your money around on children's clothing and adult clothing. I think that commercial's a little old. I think we got new stuff on there. There weren't any posters on the... Anyway, we have merchandise on Teespring. And Michael Lyons has books for sale. He's a rock star cartoonist, on Amazon.com. Books like... Dog and My Ingun. Books like Dog and My Ingun. And, that's not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted. Dog and My Ingun's accounting book at 10. And Little Cutie. And all kinds of stuff. But, so, yeah. And, I don't know. You think we'll come on tonight? I don't know, maybe. See if there's anything to talk about. See if what's his name kills again? Oh, you mean Alec Baldwin? Yeah, if Alec Baldwin kills between now and then, we're definitely coming on. Okay. Watch for Alec Baldwin to kill again. If he accidentally shoots anybody between now and like 8 o'clock tonight, we may come back for an evening show. But otherwise, thank you so much, Boozhoo crew, the Breakfast Club. Thank you for tuning in to our show. To a little show we like to call Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo. It's a podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I'm Natasha. This is Nanaboozhoo. Okay, miigwech. This is Michael Lyons. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. And I will see you again. Giga Min. Minawa. Baby doll, can I get you to teleport me away? One to teleport. One to teleport. Oh, make it so, number one.